How do we go up now? Hello, what's up everyone? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location. It's your boy, the Crackhead, and I'm wishing you all a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. We are still at the Tower of David on our exploration, and today we're going to be looking at the Byzantine Jerusalem versus the Crusaders Jerusalem. So stick with me, please, to the end of this video, and hopefully you're going to be learning something new, or you're going to be refreshing your memory with something you already knew. Byzantine Jerusalem was a Christian city with grand churches like Justinian's New Church and infrastructure, but its importance declined before the Crusaders arrived, with some areas becoming dumps. I think no, let's see. Let's go back.
So this is the waterfall?
No, I think somewhere there it's closed. Let's go back.
Okay, over there is
Okay.
There's a way to go for.
The first Crusaders conquered the Byzantine Jerusalem in 1099, establishing the Kingdom of Jerusalem, replacing the Latin Patriarch, building new structures, example Hospital of St. John, and altering existing Byzantine ones, creating a distinct Crusader city until Saladin's conquest in 1187, after which Byzantine influence waned further as Latin rule shifted to Akko. The reason we went down here in the first place was because we saw a sign, Crusader Cistern and Tunnel. So we thought, why not check it out, only to find out that the entrance was closed. Probably they were still working and excavating on it. So we decided to go back and explore other places. The Byzantine Jerusalem from the 330s to 1099 had religious centers. Large churches were built, including the Grand New Church by Emperor Justinian and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, with significant Byzantine presence on the Temple Mount. Evidence of grand structures, mosaics, and coins suggests a prosperous city, though the Temple Mount might have seen limited use later, according to some sources. By the time of the First Crusade, the Byzantine Empire was weakened, and Muslim powers controlled much of the region, leading to the fall of Jerusalem to the Seljuks. The Crusader Jerusalem from 1099 to 1187. Crusaders breached the walls and captured the city in 1099, massacring many inhabitants and establishing the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem. This is the Crusader Jerusalem, as it is written here. And this is the Byzantine Jerusalem. as depicted on this map. In 1099, when the Crusaders conquered Jerusalem, they made alterations in the city, rebuilt and fortified the citadel, David's Tower, built hospitals and churches like the Hospital of the Knights of St. John in the Moristan area, often atop or incorporating Byzantine foundations, erected new churches such as the Church of St. John the Baptist. A Latin patriarch replaced the Greek Orthodox one, and Eastern Christians faced restrictions. The kingdom eventually lost Jerusalem to Saladin in 1187, though the Latin presence continued elsewhere. Fragment of a limestone lintel with Greek inscription, Christ the King, 5th to 6th centuries. When Saladin ruled Jerusalem, he generally allowed Orthodox and Eastern Christian pilgrims access, but charged fees for Latin, Catholic ones restoring Muslim holy sites. Many Crusader structures, like parts of the Moristan complex and fortifications, still exist within the old city, showing the layering of Byzantine and Crusader eras on Jerusalem's landscape. Jerusalem underwent profound transformations under Byzantine and Crusader rule, transitioning from a pagan Roman colony into the spiritual center of Christendom. The Tower of David. Under the Byzantine Empire, Jerusalem, previously the Roman Aelia Capitolina, was transformed into a central Christian metropolis and a world center for pilgrimage. Round watchtower of the early Islamic period. The tower was built as part of the citadel that also included Herodian period walls and towers, 8th to 9th century. The Byzantines built monumental structures, including the original Church of the Holy Sepulchre and the massive Near Church, the largest church of the period. And this is David with Goliath's nose. The city was organized around the Cardo Maximus, a colonnaded main street that served as its commercial and social heart. David Andre Verrocchio, 1435 to 1488, bronze replica gift of the city of Florence to Jerusalem. The city transitioned from a pagan to a Christian identity, though it remained under the administration of a religious hierarchy rather than serving as an imperial capital. Alright, I think now I'm gonna climb the Tower of David. I wanna go up to get a clear view of the city. So I'm gonna be going through here. Says the Tower of David. However, before climbing up the Tower of David, we just had to take a look inside this museum to see what interesting things we can find and, of course, learn from the history of this amazing museum at the Tower of David. The picture you're seeing on the wall is a picture of what the Tower of David used to look like at the time of the Crusaders. The first Crusaders captured Jerusalem in 1099, establishing it as the capital of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Godfrey of Bouillon was the first ruler, followed by Baldwin I, who solidified the monarchy and expanded the kingdom's borders. The period saw the rise of the Knights Templar, headquartered in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and the Knights Hospitaller, both created to protect and care for pilgrims. The Crusaders heavily renovated Byzantine sites, ambitiously rebuilding the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in a Romanesque style and converting Muslim shrines on the Temple Mount for Christian use. Excavations show the Crusader markets often followed the routes of the earlier Byzantine cardo, specializing in food and religious goods for the massive influx of European pilgrims. The First Crusade's origin was triggered by an appeal from Byzantine Emperor Alexius I Komnenos for help against the Seljuk Turks. Despite religious differences, later kings like Almaric and Baldwin III formed marriage alliances with Byzantine royalty and even launched joint military expeditions against Egypt. Jerusalem was lost to Saladin in 1187 after the Battle of Hattin. It briefly returned to Christian control through diplomacy from 1229 to 1244 before being lost permanently to the Mamluks. The Siege of Jerusalem. These are cannonballs or what?
No, the arrows. The head of the arrows. Like the points.
No, I mean the stones.
Ah, cans. You see what they write here? These are the
Ballista
working
stones.
cans.
The Hasmonean fortress.
It's from maybe the rebellion.
The Kingdom of Jerusalem, also known as the Crusader Kingdom, was one of the Crusader states established in the Levant immediately after the First Crusade. It lasted for almost 200 years from the accession of Godfrey of Bouillon in 1099 until the fall of Acco in 1291. Its history is divided into two periods with a brief interruption in its existence, beginning with its collapse after the Siege of Jerusalem in 1187 and its restoration after the Third Crusade in 1192. The original kingdom lasted from 1099 to 1187 before being almost entirely overrun by the Ayyubid Sultanate under Saladin. Following the Third Crusade, it was re-established in Acco in 1192. The re-established state is commonly known as the Second Kingdom of Jerusalem, or alternatively as the Kingdom of Acco after its new capital city. Acco remained the capital for the rest of its existence even during the 2 decades that followed the Crusaders' establishment of partial control over Jerusalem during the Sixth Crusade through the diplomacy of Emperor Frederick II. The vast majority of the Crusaders who settled the Kingdom of Jerusalem were from the Kingdom of France, as were the knights and soldiers who made up the bulk of the steady flow of reinforcement throughout its 200-year existence. Its rulers and elite were therefore predominantly French. French Crusaders brought their language to the Levant, thus establishing Old French as the lingua franca of the Crusader states, in which Latin serves as the official language. While the majority of the population in the countryside comprised Christians and Muslims from local Levantine ethnicities, many Europeans, primarily French and Italian, also arrived to settle in villages across the region. And now we're making our way to the top of the citadel, or you can say the top of the tower. But before we got to the peak, we found out that there was a museum here at this floor, and of course, we had to explore it as well. What you're seeing in front of you right now is just a replica of the city of Jerusalem. If you've ever been to Jerusalem, you can pause the video at intervals and check if you can recognize anywhere on this replica.
Look.